How's it going, guys? Thank you so much for joining me. I am Life is Mine. So good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well today. We're going to be talking about some Nintendo news, actually. Recently, Nintendo has come out and discontinued this little guy sitting behind me right here, the NES Classic Edition as we know it. Basically, this thing is officially dead. There's been 1.5 million units released, and Nintendo just recently announced that that's going to be it. There's going to be one more shipment coming out, and after that, there's not going to be any more NES Classics available. So, hopefully you got your hands on one. If not, you have a little bit of time. I'm going to talk a little bit about, when you can be expecting them and things like that. But from one dying bird, the flames erupt, and another rises from the death, and that is, of course, the SNES Classic I'm going to be talking about today. There's some rumors actually going around that, yes, actually Nintendo has decided that this was such a good idea. They're going to be making a Super Nintendo Mini version of this thing. It sounds great on paper, but is it really? I'm going to be talking about all that today. Thank you so much for joining me, and without further ado, let's go fucking jump on some Goombas. Let's go blast some Metroids. Let's go punch some turtles and all the spiky shells in the face and play some good old classic retro Nintendo. Or not. I mean, these things are fucking impossible to find. So the story originated on IGN's website. Jose Otero actually reached out to Nintendo and asked them about the supply of the NES Classic, and basically a Nintendo representative got back to him saying, throughout April, NOA territories will receive the last shipments of Nintendo Entertainment System's NES Classic Edition system for this year. We encourage anyone interested in obtaining this system to check with retail outlets regarding availability. We understand that it has been difficult for many consumers to find a system, and for that we apologize. We have paid close attention to consumer feedback, and we greatly appreciate the incredible level of consumer interest and support for this product. Now, I mean, pretty much, the NES Classic is kind of a cool idea. I mean, it's literally, you get 30 games, you get a little mini NES here, a little thing, and a little tiny controller and shit like that. Yeah, and you got some really fucking cool games on here. I'm sure you guys know what's on here, but yeah, I mean, you got Final Fantasy, Super Mario Bros. 3, Ninja Gaiden, the original Castlevania, and so many more. I mean, Mega Man 2, Pac-Man, Metroid, Super Mario Bros., come on. And the thing, retails at $60, so $59.99, and that's a fantastic deal for not only a collector, for a fan of Nintendo, and I mean just people that want to get back into retro games again. As you can see down below, I have tons and tons of my NES Classics. My real NES Classics. I mean, if I wanted to play, DuckTales or I don't know, fucking Metal Gear, I don't know, Friday the 13th, I don't know why I'd want to play that, but I have that, and all of these games on here I have. I mean, Zelda and Ninja Gaiden and Final Fantasy and all these things, I have these games. It's about the size of your cell phone. It's not, the big girthy NES style. I mean, this fucking NES that I got sitting right here is all beat up and shit. I mean, it's literally bigger than this box. I mean, this thing would not fit in this thing. I mean, can you imagine putting this fucking thing in 30 games in here? I mean, you're sitting here fucking like, I'm just gonna grab a handful of fucking games that I got here. I'm like, oh, I got Narc and shit. I mean, can you imagine getting all of this in this tiny little box? Like, I mean, I can't even stack all this shit on this box. It's just impossible. Like, it's all gonna fucking, it's not happening. Like, you just can't do this. So this is why the future is cool. I mean, you get tons of retro games on your little mini console, not even bigger than a cell phone, and it's pretty fucking sweet. Basically what it is, it's a RetroPie. It's an emulation machine in a tiny little housing of a Nintendo Classic. It's a NES. It's a little mini one. But the coolest thing that I actually do like about this is that Nintendo has actually made the NES controllers again. And they're also compatible with the Wii console or your Wii U. You just plug it in the bottom of your Wiimote and you waggle around or play whatever on your Wii. So it's pretty cool for virtual console games, and I definitely appreciate that. The console I can take or leave. Now, I do know that they did release the controllers separately for $9.99, but they are the rarest fucking things out there right now that I can think of, besides, sealed Sega CD games and things like that. I mean, this little guy right now, I've seen them go for like $300 just for the controller itself. It's unbelievable. So as Nintendo is discontinuing the console, I'm assuming they're discontinuing the controller. If they already haven't, they just didn't talk about it. So why the NES Classic is such a cool idea is because it brings old types of games to new types of gamers. I mean, this was probably a really cool idea. Maybe a mom would have saw this in the store and been like, oh, 30 games, Nintendo? Awesome, here. I want my kid to, play real games, Mega Man 2 and Castlevania, real games, the games we grew up with. Instead of having to go out and find a Nintendo, find Castlevania. I mean, that alone, if you find an NES, they're like $60. You find Castlevania, it's like $20. I mean, you're already paying more for one game and the console than you could in this little housing right here. wasn't really made for collectors. I mean, this was a novelty type of idea, like a stocking stuffer, or hey, it's a birthday present, I care about you, I know you like video games, I don't really know a lot about them, I'm not going to invest a bunch of money into a 3DS or a Switch or a Wii U or whatnot, so here's this little cool Nintendo, right? I know a lot of you techie people out there are probably saying, yeah, it's stupid, whatever. I totally understand. For 60 bucks, it is fucking stupid. If you want to, you build a RetroPie for like $70, $80, and you can just play literally all of the Nintendo games, all of the Super Nintendo, PlayStation, yada yada yada, go on and so forth, instead of just having 30 games, this like little thing, right? So I understand, it is a dumb idea if you're a tech type of person that knows how to build a RetroPie and download emulators and take it and do whatever. But this wasn't made for us. That's what I'm saying. It's not for collectors. It's not for techies. It's for people that don't know what Nintendo is. Or, oh, I played Nintendo when I was a kid. I want my kid to have those type of experiences without spending an arm and a leg on it, right? Do not spend $300 on this fucking thing. Do not spend any more than $60 on this thing. Please, I implore you. I can't even talk. I'm crying. It makes me sick. It makes me sick to think people buy this for $300. Oh my god, it's gonna give me a fucking heart attack. So do not buy this thing for any more than $59.99 retail value, because it is not fucking worth it. I mean, if you're thinking about, oh, I'm gonna buy it for $300 and maybe it'll be $1,000 one day, maybe if you can afford that, you have disposable income. I can't tell you what to do with your money, but all I know is that this thing is not worth more than $60. It's a collector's item. It's going up right now on eBay. They're trending at like $200, which is insane. Now, my opinion of it, I've never actually opened this thing, because it's a pretty weird concept for Nintendo. Nintendo has never been a company that has got into plug-and-play technology, really. You know, there's always been like the Game & Watch and maybe Game Boy, but you still need the console and stuff. There's never really been anything like this, that you literally just plug in with an HDMI cord and a power brick and then just play some NES games. Now, is this thing worth $60? Yeah, it is worth $60. If you could find this thing in the wild for $60, I totally think you should pick one up. Not only because it's a really cool idea for Nintendo fans, but yeah, it's going to be a collector's item one day, as we already know. 1.5 million in the wild sounds like a big number, but it's not. I mean, this thing's going to be... there's more than the Virtual Boy out there. However, this thing has... The want for this thing is unbelievable. So many people want this thing. Just because of these legendary games inside of it in this cool little retro 80s package with the, you know, the NES. It's exactly how the boxes used to look. It's very cool. They even use the old style starry background and things like that. But I'm probably never going to open this fucking thing now, right? Like, sure, if they were abundant and I would be able to find one anywhere, I probably would have bought 10 of these things and I would have just had them just hanging around. One in my living room, one in my bedroom. Fuck, take them to my friend's house, do whatever. But as of now, I mean, I doubt I'm going to ever fucking open this thing. I was actually lucky enough to be able to hold one of these things, to actually get one of these things, because I have a really close friend that works at a GameStop, actually, and he was kind of telling me the process of how they were receiving these things. As we all know, they're very hard to find. Nobody, or a lot of people, never even saw them in the wild, including myself. I mean, when I only even got this because I have a very close friend, like I said, that works at a GameStop, let me know when they got them in stock. This thing is completely unbelievably hard to find. You know, there was never any kind of marketing in store shelves. A lot of people thought these things were just going to be stacked up on the ends of Bed Bath & Beyond and Toys R Us and all kinds of different places. However, as we know, Nintendo only released 1.5 million of these guys. And supposedly, according to my source that I have at GameStop, April will be the last month for these things. There will be 1 or 2 more shipments. No idea how many they're getting, but as we know, they have been being... you know, they've been distributed very sparsely. According to my source at GameStop, there was at their initial launch when it came out. I think it was like November 11th. I think it came out back in 2016. There was only about 15 or 20 that they got in their store, and same thing with a lot of the other stores around them. After that, Nintendo actually was just releasing 3 here, 3 there, things like that. They would get a magical box every other week or so, and there was lines at the door. He was telling me horror stories that they would have to put notes on the door letting people know, we do not have this. People were calling them, and it was absolutely insanity. There have been rumors popping up all over the place that Nintendo is actually killing this idea and bringing us the SNES Classic or the Super Nintendo Classic. Basically, this is why distribution and production on this system has ended, according to Eurogamer, because they were mass-producing the Super Nintendo Classic. Maybe they thought the SNES Classic would have been more popular than the NES Classic. According to Eurogamer.net, Nintendo will actually follow up its Smash NES micro console with a mini version of the SNES. The SNES Mini is currently scheduled to launch in time for Christmas this year. Development of the device is already underway, our sources have indicated. So going off of the 30 games that are packed in on the NES Classic, what type of games do you think we'll get in Super Nintendo? Well, I'm thinking we're going to be getting A Link to the Past. I mean, you're going to have to get your first-party games, right? Get them good. You're going to have to get your Link to the Past. You're going to have Super Mario World. I mean, it's going to be amazing. Super Metroid. There's going to be so many games. And then, as third-party, because we saw Final Fantasy and Ninja Gaiden and Castlevania, maybe we'll get Super Castlevania 4 if Konami and Nintendo is working together on this partnership. Maybe we can get some Capcom games. Maybe we'll get like Mega Man 7 or something, or Mega Man X. That would be awesome. But yeah, my biggest problem with all of this is that this died because they could not keep up with the demand. They thought this was not going to be a very lucrative product for them. However, they didn't take into account how many fans of this product there are. This is such a genius idea. It's a plug-and-play Nintendo. So I'm pretty excited for the SNES Classic. I do like the idea of this game. I love the Super Nintendo. It's one of my favorite consoles of all time. I can just imagine a little Super Nintendo sitting there on my desk and, just being able to boot up Star Fox, Super Metroid, whatever. It's going to be awesome. Though I have all of those games, physically, obviously. But, it's cool to be able to just plug and play and do whatever. But as we saw with the NES Classic, the SNES Classic will probably be as hard to find. Sources are already saying that they are mass-producing the SNES Classic, which in turn killed the NES Classic product line because they needed the warehouse and the distributors and everything to do that. So, if they are going to be fully putting their money into this, great. Then let's have it. Let's put them in Bed Bath & Beyond, put them in Toys R Us, put them everywhere. I want to see SNES Classic everywhere. I don't want to see it turn into another little collector's thing where tons of people are just buying them to sell them on eBay for ridiculous prices. People that actually want them aren't even able to touch one or look at one and things like that. It's unfair, and it's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, I just hope that if they are, if this is all true and we are going to be expecting a Super NES Classic, a SNES Classic at the end of the year, that we have them. They're everywhere. I don't want to just hold this in a fucking box. I'm never going to open this thing now. Why would I? It's a collector's item. I collect games. I collect stuff. That's what I do. I'm a collector. So it's well, I might as well keep it sealed in the package now, and that sucks. I hate doing that. I am not one of those collectors. I like to open my shit, play it, enjoy it, But I'm just looking at this fucking thing, and I'm like, $60, and this might be one of the rarest products produced by Nintendo. Sure, we're not talking about Nintendo Championship carts and all that kind of stuff. I understand that they have a long history of rare products and things, and really uncommon games and hardware and things. But this is going to be one of them. That is for certain. You're talking under 2 million produced out in the wild. Why should I open it? And it sucks. I want to play this. I want to open it up and put it on my desk, and I wanted to have another one that I could have put, like I said, in my living room. Give one to my buddy for his birthday. Hey man, I know you love NES, bye, and he would have fucking loved it, but not for $300. Alright guys, so I want to hear what you have to say in the comments now. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me today. Hopefully, you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you're enjoying the videos and things like that. And yeah, I just want to make a quick little video about the death of one beast and the rise of another and all that kind of stuff like that. So what kind of games do you want to see in the SNES Classic? Did you get an NES Classic? Have you played it? Let me know how it is, because mine's just sitting there. It's so sad. It's so sad when the fun is locked in the box and I can't play it. But come on. Let the fun out of the box. That's what I'm saying. It's there's too much fun there. There's 30 games and the Nintendo controller and... Nintendo, when will you learn? I think you just hate money. I really do. I really just think Nintendo just hates money. This is a product that was selling. Just fucking... Everybody was buying one. It had an attachment rate unknown. People were buying these fucking things. People were buying them for $300-$400. Nintendo could put this thing up right now and be like, yeah, it's like a full fucking console for 30 games. You're gonna love it, Jesus Christ, people would buy it. $400? That's like almost a fucking PlayStation 4. That's a fucking Nintendo Switch. It's ridiculous, So let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. As always, go play some games, and I'll see you next time. Really, why would they continue to do this type of thing? Because it's really only going to be cannibalizing their own market space. So it all makes sense. But anywho, from one death rises another. We're going to be getting the SNES Classic supposedly this holiday season. So that's a fantastic idea. You couldn't find this fucking thing in the wild. So here, this is exactly what the SNES Classic looks like. I'm holding it right here. It doesn't exist. It's good luck fucking trying to find one.